Hello and welcome to my Let's Play of Dwarf Fortress. It's a brand new version of 0.34.02. I have a brand new world here that I created just for this Let's Play. I've kind of been messing around a little bit in adventure mode. Now, for this Let's Play, I'm not going to be going over the basics of the game. Like basic controls and things like that, because I mean, you can kind of figure it out for yourself. I mean, there are tutorials on YouTube that are very, very handy. What I'm going to be doing is more of a challenge Let's Play. I am going to be explaining some of my reasons for doing the things I'm going to do, but for this challenge, I'm going to try to get the monarch to move to my fortress. I've never actually managed to do it before, and honestly, I don't really know if you can do it in this version. But it should be fun. So we're just going to go ahead and get a fortress mode going up. So I am going to try to have a very large and what is the word I'm looking for? It's not fancy. Well, fancy is close. It's going to be a very I can't think of the right word. It doesn't really matter. So because we want a fortress to be extremely large, what we're going to do is we want to look for a place that has a very high elevation. So somewhere in the mountain regions, we kind of want some trees. Well, not kind of, but we do want trees. So we kind of want somewhere that's high up. It doesn't necessarily have to be right in the mountains, because as you can see, this is kind of some low elevations. We don't really want that. We want some higher elevations. So I'm probably going to cut the video right here while I look for that, because that's going to be a little bit tedious, and I'll come back once I found it. Alright, so it took me a little bit, but I did manage to find it. It's not quite as high as I would like it to be. As you can see, like, it's got, like, this color blue right here is synonymous with this. So it is kind of a lower elevation, but these lower parts down here is really what we're looking at. It does have some slopes, some decent slopes, some medium cliffs, so it's going to be relatively easy to defend. The main section down here in this first biome has no trees. It does have some vegetation, some regular wilderness, warm temperate, or warm temperature. So, and metals and deep metals. And then in the other area is where we're going to be doing most of our beginning stuff. Like it does have access to a brook. I believe it's a brook. And some trees. So this is a good enough area. It doesn't have any fluxstone, which is unfortunate, but I'm really not going to worry too much about steel, because the true mark of a great empire is not how much steel you have, but how much adamantine. And that's really what we're going to be aiming for. So let's go ahead and embark here. Good enough area. Go ahead and prepare for the journey carefully. So when I prep for the journey, the first thing I like to do is go ahead and switch over to items. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to go ahead and take the iron anvil, take the picks, kick this rum down to 20, and we want wine and beer, and we want 20 of each. So we're going to start off with 80. Oop, wrong button. So we're going to start off with 80 total alcohol, but 20 of each of the four kinds, because you want to keep it as varied as possible for your dwarves. They are a little bit picky. If they drink the same thing over and over, then they're going to eventually just stop drinking it. We're not going to take any crutches or splints, because we're not going to have any need for a hospital in the very beginning. Only one bucket. We're not going to take any of these quivers. We kick the ropes, the bags, the cloth, and the thread down to 3 each. The ropes are 2. Everything else we're just going to kind of keep at it as is for now. We're going to want 2 dogs and 2 cats. Now the cats are to keep the vermin out of our food stock, and that's really all they're good for. And occasionally emergency food supplies, which I would never do in real life, because cats are adorable, but at Dwarf Fortress they're tasty. The dogs are also used for breeding and for eventually training hunting and war dogs. More war dogs than hunting dogs. But I take just regular dogs because they're cheaper. So, normally I like to take 2 miners, 1 woodcutter, mason, and then the miners are pretty much just going to be miners, but then the woodcutter is also going to double as my... What do I want him to double as? Because all these other guys are going to have multiple jobs. The mason's going to be pretty busy, so I'm going to give him an easy job, an easy side job. I'm going to go ahead and make him a building designer. The woodcutter's not going to be nearly as busy, so I want him to do something else besides woodcutting that is going to be handy. I'll probably make him, there we go, my mechanic. And we're also going to want a carpenter. The carpenter is also not going to be super busy. I mean, he's going to have some stuff to do, but he's not really going to be that busy. So he's going to double up as a stone crafter. And this guy is going to be my the guy who provides me with food. So he's going to be a grower and a brewer. And then my last guy is pretty much going to be he's going to be my head doctor, but in the beginning he's not going to be very useful at all because, like I said, I'm not going to have a hospital, and I mean, really, if I need a doctor in the very beginning, I'm doing something wrong. So I'm just going to go ahead and load him up with the doctor traits: the wound dresser, the diagnostician, the surgeon, the bone doctor, and the suturer, and that's pretty much all he's going to do. Now, like I said, my miners aren't going to do anything except for mining because I need them to dig out areas as quickly as possible. So I believe, just a quick double check, I have a woodcutter, mechanic, a mason and a building designer, carpenter and a stone crafter, grower and a brewer, and my doctor. Okay, now back to the items. So we have 51 points left. I would say the most important things to bring, because we already have all of our food. We're gonna want to up our seeds a little bit. So we want some plump helmet spawn, bring that up to 10. Pigtail seeds is definitely important. Cave wheat seeds and sweet pods. Now I bring these ones up first because these 4 can be used to brew more alcohol as it goes down. Really, the most important are going to be the pigtail seeds. Well, pigtails and sweet pods, because these two have the most uses. Pigtails can be turned into, in the addition of being turned into alcohol, they can also be turned into, thread and cloth, which is very, very important. Rock nuts and dimple cup are not that important. Rock nuts are really become more important later in the fortress, and dimple cup is really only useful for dyeing and for selling for money. The rest of the points we're just going to go ahead and put into food. So we want, not so much plump helmets, but we're going to go ahead and up my seafood intake. I'll get one more rock nut. And then 10 points left. What do I want? What do I want? We'll just go ahead and do porcupine meat, because that sounds tasty. Alright, so that should be everything. Cool. Also, it should be said that I have not done any fortresses in this new version yet, so this is going to be kind of like an experience for... I'm going to be experiencing this brand new with you guys as you're watching it. So you know, I have seen a little bit of thing. Like one of the first things I want to show you is the unit screen, which I saw in someone else's Let's Play. Very briefly. Alright, so here we go. The Dwarven Outpost. You've arrived after a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond your harsh beyond. I keep forgetting that with this texture pack, it cuts out the periods and the exclamation points for some reason. That is another thing to mention. I am using a graphics pack, Iron Hand, which, even though it does change, it changes quite a bit. It's just kind of easier for for people to watch, and I'm not really used to the original graphics anymore. So anyway, back to what I was reading. Your heart's trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all of Amcamarel. I have no idea how to pronounce that. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labor comes sustenance, whether by bolt, plow, or hook. Provide for your dwarves. You were expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it is spring now, enough time to delve secure lodgings. Ere the black bear get hungry, a new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place. Castrorudo. Block lantern. Strike the earth.